to mid-May of this year include under sa Ilog Ko May Pagbabago, the Regional Bangus Summit, the Deputy Fish Warden Trainings, the Fisher Folk Registration with BIFAR, One Barangay, One Fish program, and distribution of fish cages and fish species for indigent fisher folk. Dialogues, and so also dialogues with the samahan ng mga maliliit na mangingisda sa Dagupan and the ulupan na sumisigay at Dagupan livelihood project proposals. For our one-stop shop, it recently renewed its ISO certification and conducted the following: meeting with all of the bookkeepers for faster processing time, faster delivery of services in accordance to the ISO certification to less than 30 minutes. The island tours will also be launched soon. Together with the Product Center and the Seafood Festival in October. The RIMAT, Amianan, will likewise showcase the products of the Region 1. For other economic services, we have consultation with transport groups for the improvement of our traffic, the reduction of our colorum PUPs, consultation on loading and unloading areas, enforcement of the use of pedestrian lanes, consultation with the LTFRB. I would like to thank the Sangguniang Panlunsod for allowing us to conduct a traffic experiment. And for electricity and water expenses, we have budgeted 45 million pesos or 15% more than 2013. Our budget for 2014 amounts to 628 million pesos or 16% more than 2013. To support our budgetary requirements, we have identified the following as revenue sources: around 329.5 million pesos or 52% will be derived from the internal revenue allotment for ERA. From a high revenue share of around 70 to 75% a few years ago. We have broken the 50% barrier, a result of our solid determination to gradually break free from our heavy reliance on the ERA share for our developmental undertakings. 104 million or 17% shall come from operating miscellaneous revenue and 194.5 million pesos or 31% from local taxes. I'm happy to report also that our annual investment plan or the AIP by sector amounts to 650 million pesos and is broken down as the follows. The general public services sector comprises 36%, the social services 32%, economic services 25%, and other services 7%. These shall all be funded from the general funds. Beyond 2014, we have program projects that will require investment from the national government and the private sector. These are contained in our local development and investment plan. These are summarized as follows: social services, 11 projects, or 31.44%, economic services, 45 million, 20.64%, infrastructure support, 11 projects, 35.45%, environmental, 4 projects, 11.79%, and our institutional, 1 project at 0.69%, or a total of 100%. Thus, we have already completed several projects. As of today, May 2014. First, the lightings for Pugaro and different barangays. When I was still the Vice Mayor, pag pupunta po ako sa Pugaro, pag inimbita po ako doon, ang dilim-dilim. And always, my family would say, huwag kang pumunta kasi mahirap na, walang ilaw, and your life is very important. Nung ako po ay umupo ng mayor, hindi pa ho umabot ng 1 buwan, ay kinausap ko po si Engineer Jojo Liwag to help me and provide lightings for Barangay Pugaro. Hindi ho nagtagal. Pagbalik ko sa Pugaro, nakakabit na po yung mga ilaw without any cost to the city of Dagupan. I would like to thank Engineer Jojo Liwag for his always fast action and Decorp Dagupan. Malingas Market improvement, rehabilitation of daycare centers, rehabilitation of comfort rooms. Ang ating daycare center po, ngayon ko lang nalaman, hindi pa po pala accredited ng region, DSWD. So ang ginawa po namin, we talked with the DSWD and the Budget Office, our Finance Committee, na kailangan accredited po ang ating daycare center. Mukhang tayo na lang hong naiwan. Ako'y nagpapasalamat with the support of the private company, Boysen Philippines po. Sila po partially provided also the painting, yung mga pintura po, galing po sa kanila. Yung kulang, yun na lang sinolder po ng ating syudad. So, ngayon po ay accredited na po ang ating mga daycare centers. For our comfort rooms, we have repair and repainting of our comfort rooms. We used to have an income of 45,000 a month or 540,000 a year. Sa ngayon po, ang collection po natin ay more than 20,000 a day or 650,000 or a minimum of 600,000 a month, or we might reach 7 million a year, from 540,000 to 6 or 7 million a year. Rehabilitation of concrete sidewalk at Malwood District, provided by the Road Users Fund. The construction of cross drain crossing along Don Proceso Bautista Road. Well, we have drainage, pero kailangan ho natin ng cross drain kasi hindi ho naman ho nakakalabas yung tubig pag wala ho siyang madadaanan. This funding, I think, came from the DILG. The repair and improvement of stalls at the Malingas Market. Installation on gutter concreting at the same market. Improvement of our market would mean improvement of the income of our small entrepreneurs. Ang hirap po mag-umpisa. Araw na araw lang po. Araw-araw I have to go to the market to see them. Minsan, ang hirap-hirap po ng loob ko. Ang hirap po na paalisin sila sa tabi ng kalsada. But I think we have to change their lives. Meron ho minsan, sabi ko doon sa isang vendor, dito ka na sa loob. Sabi niya, ayoko dito na ako sa labas. Kasi hindi ako makakalaban sa loob, kulang ang ating pambayad sa stalls. Sabi ko, hindi naman pwede, parati ka na lang dyan sa kalsada nagbebenta. Paano ang iyong pamilya? I was able to convince a lot to go inside. And those who were able to, those who I am able to convince, together with Engineer Rosario and some of the anti-littering people, with Kapitana Centino, Engineer Nazareno, dinala ho namin sila sa loob. Inayos ko po ang kanilang display. Wala ho silang pang-display. Sabi ko sa kanila, huwag kayong mag-alala, nagbabayad ka sa palengke, ibabalik ko sa inyo ang inyong bayad. Ginawan ho namin sila ng shelvings, yung ladderized. Binigay ho namin sa kanila at the expense of our city government. When I tried to compute per square meter of their income, natuwa po ako. Marami ho na nagbebenta at kumikita at nakakabenta lang ho ng 5,000 isang araw sa tabi ho, sa baba ho sa nakalatag sa kalsada. Pagbalik ko ng first few days, galit sa akin. Hindi pa ako nakakabawi, Mayor, sabi niya. Hayaan mo, makakabawi ka dyan, maniwala ka sa akin. After more than a week, pagbalik namin ni Engineer Jane, kumusta na? Parang ang dami mong display ngayon. Ay, opo, pwede bang hingiin ko na rin yung kabilang stall? Sabi niya, Oo, by all means. Ano gusto mo? Kausapin mo si Sir Aguido, bibigay sa iyo yan. Magre-rental ka naman eh. It's yours. Marami po sila. Their income from 5,000 went up to 15,000 a day. Minsan pumunta po ako doon, ba't yung display mo ko konti? Hindi, kasi namimili pa ho kami, naubusan kami in the afternoon. Minsan po tinanong ko siya, bakit, ano nangyari siya? Ba't ang daming naka-plastic nasa flooring, hindi sa display mo? Sabi niya, binili na po ng mga restaurants. Binili na po ng mga hotels. So you could see, pag magtsatsaga po pala tayo, matutulungan ho natin na improve ang kanilang buhay. Sa umpisa, alam ko, galit sila sa akin. Pero later on, nakangiti na po sila kasi tumaas na ho ang kanilang income. At maraming mga matutuwa ka sa saya. Before, ang occupancy rate is 20%. Ngayon, ang occupancy rate is 80%. Yung mga nasa middle size, ang gulo-gulo ng display, minsan marumi. Sabihin ko, nanay, ayusin natin to. Paano mo makakalaban yung mga malalaki dyan ngayon? Sabi, oo nga wala kasi yung pera. Madali lang yan, ayusin natin. Tinutulungan ho namin sila mag-ayos. Pagbalik ko, day after, natutuwa ako. May sarili na ho siyang initiative. May sarili na po sila na initiative. Pagbalik ko po, maayos ng kanilang display. Pati ho yung mga nagbebenta ng isda, nagbebenta po ng mga chicken, mga karne po. I'm looking forward into maybe asking from the Department of Agriculture to provide the city of Dagupan a slaughterhouse. Kasi gusto kong i-promote ang ating Malingas market. Hindi lang po malinis, hindi lang po mura, hindi lang po honest ang ating vendors, kundi fresh from the farm. Dapat po, hindi ho frozen na ating binebenta. Dapat po, fresh from the market. At ito ay matagal nang hinihingi po ng ating vendors because they're always affected by the imported meat. So, siguro with the help of Sangguniang Panlunsod, we will send a communication to them to ask for a resolution of support for putting up a slaughterhouse. I believe it's about time that we change and touch the lives of our people. Kailangan ho natin silang tulungan. Kasi pag wala po tayo, sino pa ho kaya ang gagawa? Ako, I'm willing to sacrifice my time. Kahit na 20 hours ako nagtatrabaho po, I'm willing to work with them in the market. Very soon, we are also going to rehabilitate the Galvan market and the consignation market. The improvements of our city museum, the improvement of our city health office. This is our city museum. And of course, our city health office. Alam nyo, pataas ng pataas, padami ng padami po ang lumalapit po sa city health office. Nung ako'y umupong mayor po, ang unang sinabi ko po, pinatawag ko ang lahat ng nurses. Huwag ho kayong humintay na ang mga pasyente po ang lalapit sa inyo. Kayo ho mismo ang lumapit sa kanila. With the support of the Barangay Council, nagmi-meeting po kami parate, siguro twice a month kung pwede. By the way, RPT taxes collections for the barangays, dati po ay binibigay ho quarterly, ngayon po ay monthly. Tina-turn over ko na po sa kanila para magamit din ho nila for their services. So, aside from medical missions all over the city, the improvement of our city health office, and maybe we will be buying more equipments para ho matulungan po ang laboratory natin po para sa mga indigents. Restoration, the plan of restoration for our MacArthur Park. Improvement of our covered courts of Lucao, Barangay Lucao Elementary School, Bacayao Sur Elementary School, and Bacayao Norte Elementary School. Pero sisiguraduhin po natin, kasi nakita ko po, yung sa may Barangay Lasip, Pugo Grande, kailangan na ho ng konting repair. So that will be included already in our 2015 budget. Pati ho yung mga ibang covered court ay ayusin natin and repainting po para sa kanila. Improvement and landscaping of Children's Park. Alam nyo, very simple lang naman ginawa natin dun eh. Pinaint lang natin to make it colorful para yung mga bata po masaya. At binabantayan na ho namin mga nagde-date doon, bawal na po. Meron ho kaming tagabantay. Repair of also of our comfort rooms at the City Plaza and the People's Astrodome. The repair of the Mayor's Pavilion. The repainting and repair of our poolside water line system and flood lightings. I remember this pool was put up by former Mayor Fernandez. Parati ho tayo nananalo dyan, but look what happened. Napabayaan po. And yet, last time po, pag tinitignan ko ang bill ho nila sa mga chlorine, we are spending 100,000 pesos. Sa ngayon ho, hindi na. We spent siguro a little more than 50,000 pesos lang po sa mga gamot. But you could see how happy the children are and the swimmers are. By, alam nyo, dito ho din natin tinitrain yung 6,000 po na bata. And look at the water, blue. Tuwang-tuwa po yung mga jilig nung dumating ho sila dito and people from Iraa. They didn't expect na gano'n na po ang itsura. With only a minor budget, kasi we end up kasi last year, actually nung dumating po ako ng July, wala ho talagang pundo. Puro remedyo lang po yan. We started from one water pump, tapos naging 3 na ho, yung may pera na tayo this year. Improvement of our herbal, ecological, reusable, organic, or the HERO building. Installation of deep wells in Lungus, Bunuan Bukig, perimeter fence at East Central Elementary School of Mayumbo. Kasi nananakawan po sila eh, so we have to put up the fence for them. Repair of various elementary schools. Mayumbo, Mamalingling, we put up a stage for them kasi lumang-luma na po yung stage nila. Bacau Sur, Lucao, Poblacion Weste, Pugaro Suite, and Bunuan Bukig, Bulusan, and Lasip Chico. Repair and improvement of street lights in various places in Dagupan. The following projects are now ongoing. The construction of our senior citizens building at the City Plaza. Actually, this will start on June 11. That is the best day daw to start. June 11 at 9 o'clock po. Attorney Espanyol. Construction of Product Center building at the City Hall. Alam niyo ba na ini-enjoy ko pa yung trabaho ko as the mayor? As I go around the barangays, I discovered a lot of products na hindi ko alam. Alam niyo ba yung espada sa Pugaro? I used to buy it in the Mortes. Andiyan lang pala sa Pugaro, yung mga alamang nasa Pugaro. And then the fresh lapu-lapu nasa Pugaro lang pala. And of course, we have the other barangays pa sa Lapingaw and Lumboy and the many others. And of course, yung mga ibang produkto din from Lasip Grande, from Bacau Sur, Bacau Norte, marami pa hong iba, Mayumbo. And we will use the product center to promote the products of the Dagupan. For your information, nag-organize na po tayo ng Bangus Development Team at ako'y nagpapasalamat po kay Regional Director Lial dahil po tinulungan po nila tayo with our Provincial Director na natuloy po yung Bangus Summit. And now, we organize a team already. Tinutulungan po tayo ni Ma'am Rosemary of the DTI sa kanilang export department po, and of course we have consultants to help us also to improve packaging and many others for the industry, for the backyard processing and the deboners at pati ang ating deboning section sa market aayusin po natin. Upgrading of PCC pavement and drainage system along Milyora and Sapitan Road in Barangay Lucao. Naalala ko po, parati humbaha dyan sa Sapitan po, at saka sa Milyora. Sa wakas, nung tayo ay mayor na po, tayo po ay nakahingi ng pundo sa DILG. Repair and rehabilitation of the Galban Market. Very soon po, gagawin na ho natin ng Galban Market. May budget na po siya. Salamat po sa ating sangguniang members at na-approve. And of course, our MRF for various barangays amounting to 6 million pesos. Our upcoming projects are as follows. Proposed reconstruction of our one-stop shop business center at the City Hall. Kailangan na hong ayusin kasi nababaha na po. Proposed construction of a 2-story building with 10 classrooms at 1P Guadis Elementary School. Caraal Elementary School. And proposed constructions of multi-purpose hall at East Central Integrated School. Multi-purpose po, pwede rin pang basketball yan, pang party, pang may okasyon, pang training. And also at North Central Elementary School and at Bunuan Bukik Elementary School. Proposed construction of evacuation building in Salapingaw under the 2015 Grassroots Participatory Budgeting Process Program, or formerly the bottom-up budgeting process. Kausap ko po si Kapitan de Guzman. They have properties in Salapingaw kasi wala ho ang gobyerno. So they're willing to provide us the property. Bakit ho Salapingaw? Kikwento ko sa inyo mamaya kung bakit Salapingaw. Okay. The rehabilitation of the Magsaysay Market. Ang ating consignation area po. Pag konting kuwan lang po, storm surge, bagyo, tingnan yung itsura po, baha. Kawawa ho ang ating mga konsignasyon. Hindi ho sila makakabenta. At the same time po, ang mga buyers po natin, hindi makakabili po. Apektado po ang ating income ng syudad, apektado din po yung income ng ating konsignasyon at ang ating mga sumisigay. So propose upgrading of PCC pavement along Reyes Street. Yung kalsada po, papasok sa konsignasyon, we received our road users fund of, I think, almost 2 million pesos from the DILG, Secretary Mar Rojas. But the upgrading of our consignation flooring will be coming from our local budget. All of these were made possible through your taxes. Thank you very much po sa inyong lahat. Implemented together, these 32 projects of 2014 to 2016 came from the Local and Development Investment Plan. With that of the 2014 Annual Investment Plan, will undoubtedly ensure the social and economic well-being of the Dagupeños and visitors, corporate entities doing business in the city. For the first quarter of 2014, allow me to give you a quick glance on how we fared financially compared to the same period in 2013 under the previous administration. Excluding the sale of Macador amounting to 119 million pesos, our budget officer computed the following. From a budget deficit of 37.1 million pesos in January 2013, we now registered a budget surplus of 49.6 million pesos, or an increase of 86.6 million pesos, or 233% for the same month, this 2014. From a budget deficit of 3 million in February 2013, we registered a budget surplus of 81.3 million pesos, or an increase of 84.4 million, or 277% for the same month, this 2014. From a budget deficit of 22.2 million pesos in March 2013, we registered a budget surplus of 80.8 million pesos, or an increase of 103 million, or 465% for the same month, this 2014. For the entire first quarter of 2014, this administration registered an average increase in budget surplus amounting to 274 million pesos, or a 442% over the same quarter in 2013. As may be noted, the continuous of delivery of social and public services and even the financing of capital expenditures would not have been possible during the first quarter of 2013, as shown by the successive budgetary deficit. In fact, as mentioned earlier in my speech, this budgetary deficit extended all the way to September of 2013. When you choose me to be your mayor, and the first time to be the mayor of City of Dagupan, sabi ko, ganun pala ito. Ang dami palang utang. And what I did is I asked the city administrator, don't turn over to me any documents without explaining to all of the department heads what are the real score, how much is the real money or cash flow left or budget left in our city. Operations were made possible only because the previous administration was eating up a portion of our 119 million pesos. MacAdor sales proceeds to fund these deficits without any approved sanggunian supplemental budget. And precisely, if the intention of the previous administration was to source a fund for their overspending and misspending, then they should have sold the MacAdor property at a price higher than 119 million pesos. Precisely too, that was my point when I was the vice mayor. I refused to the original offer of 68 million pesos or a net of 55 million pesos after deducting selling tax and other agents' fees. And second, the 75 million pesos. And finally, the 100 million pesos. And 119 million pesos by the Cabangon Group. As per advice by expert appraisers, the land alone could fetch a good price of no less than 33,000 pesos. I remember one property was sold to Land Bank, and that was sold at 32,000 pesos without any structure that could be able to allow the buyer to continue because it's quite dilapidated already. At 5,113 square meters, the land could easily fetch a 168 million pesos. The 7-story building measuring 14,100 square meters at 10,000 pesos per square meter would also fetch another 141 million pesos. I remember when I was the speaker, I was invited by CREBA, and I told them, could you give me an estimate of the building of MacAdor? Could I estimate it at 5,000 pesos per square because it's an old building? They said no. 5,000 is for a low-cost housing. How could you estimate a 7-story building with pile drive with only 5,000? Okay, then let's estimate it at 10,000. If it's 10,000 pesos, the building itself costs already 141 million pesos. The property 9 years ago, the building and the land, with a zonal valuation already of 123 million pesos. Adding up, I would say a minimum of 300 million pesos should be the cost of the MacAdor. The entire lot and building should have been the selling price. The MacAdor building is not owned by the mayor, it's not owned by the vice mayor, or by the Sangguniang Panlunsod. It is owned by all of the taxpayers of Dagupan City because the purchase of MacAdor came from all the hard-earned money that you pay to the city of Dagupan. Hence my position that the sale of MacAdor building being grossly understated was disadvantageous to our city. The budgetary deficit is so obvious and large. Not a 1,000 peso thing, but a hefty 30 million in the beginning. And although dwindling lasted for about 9 months, it almost brought down the city to its knees. More obvious, now the hasty sale of MacAdor was designed